If you are a runner, no doubt you will have come across the term Jeffing. It's the run-walk method which has become extremely popular in the UK and around the world. The inventor of that method, Jeff Galloway, died last month at the age of 80. Jeff, by his own admission, was a rather overweight 13-year-old when he joined a new school in Atlanta that required everyone to do a sports class. Now, the word on the street was that the track coach was rather lenient, so Jeff signed up not because he wanted to run, but because he wanted to hide in the woods, mess about for the lesson and avoid running altogether. But times change, and he went on to run at Wesleyan University alongside some serious talent, including Amby Burfoot, who would go on to win the Boston Marathon. After college and 3 years in the Navy, Jeff joined the Florida Track Club and found himself training alongside Steve Prefontaine, one of the greatest distance runners America has ever produced and lost too early. Jeff was the slow one in that company, but through sheer volume, we're talking about 140 miles each week, he qualified for the 1972 Munich Olympics in the 10,000 metres. A week earlier, Jeff's training partner and close friend Jack Batchelor had narrowly missed out on qualifying for the Olympics in the 10,000 metres. There was only one route left for Jack to get to the Olympics, and that was the marathon trials. Jeff, having already secured his Olympic spot, entered the trial not for himself but to pace his friend. They ran stride for stride in third place for 26 miles. As they came into the stadium, Jeff looked over his shoulder, saw they were clear and stepped aside. He let Jack cross the line to make sure his friend made the team. Years later, Jeff said it was the greatest thrill of his career, not his own Olympic qualification, but helping his mate get there. That selfless act became the blueprint for everything he did next. In 1974, Jeff started teaching a running class at Florida State University, and he noticed a pattern. People were starting to get injured and quitting, not because they couldn't run, but because they thought running meant never stopping. So he told them to take strategic walk breaks. And what happened? Injuries plummeted. But here's the thing nobody expected. Their times actually got quicker. By resting their muscles before they hit exhaustion, they were able to keep something in the tank for the end of the race. This way of running and walking through races became known as the Galloway method. The science behind it is straightforward. You're shifting the workload between different muscle groups, reducing the micro tears that build up when you hammer the same ones continuously. Jeff's own data showed that marathoners were shaving off an average of 7 minutes from their PB by switching to this run-walk strategy. Jeff didn't just teach this method, he lived it. In the 1980 Houston Marathon, he ran a PB of 2 hours 16 minutes, not by running the whole thing, but by walking through each aid station, proving that this doesn't work just for beginners, it worked for elite runners as well. By the way, if you're finding this video useful or interesting, then please do consider contributing to the channel to help us keep doing what we do. You can become a member for as little as £1 or $1 a month. That would really help us out. It helps us to keep providing these videos for you on a regular basis. If you'd like to subscribe, you can do that as well. That would be much appreciated. There is a huge amount of snobbery amongst us runners about walking during a race. It's a badge of honour to run the whole way without stopping. But if Jeff Galloway can run 2:16, this is an elite runner who's run with the likes of Steve Prefontaine, then who are we to judge? That's the kind of thing that makes snobbery look ridiculous. It's not some bloke on a couch making excuses. This is a true Olympian. And if he says it's okay to walk, who are we to argue? Over here in the UK, body coach Joe Wicks, one of the biggest fitness names in the country, jeffed the entire London Marathon. He said, "It reminded me and others that you don't have to be fast to be a runner." He went and did the same with the Great North Run. When a mainstream fitness figure tells millions of followers that he's going to walk sections of the biggest races in the UK, it gives permission to everyone else watching that it's okay to walk and still class yourself as a real runner. Of course, if you're an ultra runner, none of this is new to you. Jeffing is simply how we get through every single ultra race we do. You simply can't run the whole thing, especially not if you're running in the mountains, up significant incline. You have to take walking breaks. You have to measure your effort. What Jeff did was take that elite trail wisdom and hand it to the person doing their first 5k. He understood that pacing isn't about speed, it's about sustainability. And that's a lesson which works whether you're running UTMB or shuffling round your local parkrun on a Saturday morning. Jeff completed over 230 marathons. He survived heart failure in 2021 and at the age of 80 was still planning his next marathon. It would have meant completing a marathon in 8 consecutive decades of his life. But his legacy isn't a trophy cabinet. It's the millions of people who recognised that they were allowed to call themselves runners. He didn't just lower the barrier to entry, he knocked it down. He told the person at the back of the pack that they belonged there just as much as the person at the front. He was an Olympian who dedicated his life to the slowest runners in the field, and if that doesn't tell you what kind of man he was, nothing will. So this weekend, if you are doing parkrun or you're doing any race and your legs are feeling a little bit heavy, they're not quite doing what you want them to do, just take a walking break. You're not giving up, you're not quitting, you don't need to look at your watch in shame. Just remember, you are Jeffing. Taught to you by the guy who died last month at the age of 80 after giving his life to the slower runners in the pack, to people who sometimes don't feel they can be classed as real runners. Don't forget this, you are real runners, we're all real runners. It doesn't matter how fast you go, how slow you go, what time you do, or where you finish. If you take part, you're a runner. Rest in peace, Jeff, and I'll see you on the start line next time.